Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us on the Monday edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Bukola Samuel Wenimo. Today on the program, President Buhari bows to agitations, scraps F-SARS, promises extensive reform of the police, and later on the show, Governor Akeredolu defeats PDP candidate Eyitayo Jegede again, gets 4 more years as Ondo State's helmsman. I will be hanging out with Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju, and Mojeed Jamiu joins us via Skype. Journalist Hangout starts now. The age-long Latin maxim, Vox Populi, Vox Dei, which means the voice of the people is the voice of God, has been made manifest in our country, Nigeria. After years of agitation for the reform or scrapping of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS over abuse and brutality of citizens, the unit has been scrapped. Inundated by days of online campaigns and street protests in several cities across the country against the police tactical squad, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, announced dissolution of F-SARS, which was established in 1992 to tackle violent crimes. The IGP says a new strategy will be worked out to fill in the role of the dissolved squad.
Following a review of the current developments and in due cognizance of the wide and legitimately held concerns of well-meaning citizens on the existence and operations of Special Anti-Robbery Squad, as a responsive and citizen-oriented police force, it is hereby directed as follows. 1. The Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigeria Police, otherwise known as SARS, is hereby dissolved across all formations, the 36 state police commands, and the Federal Capital Territory, where they currently exist. 2. All officers and men currently serving in the unit are to be deployed with immediate effect. 3. New policing arrangements to address the offenses of armed robbery and other violent crimes that fall within the mandate of the dissolved Special Anti-Robbery Squad shall be presented in due course. 4. A Citizens and Strategic Holders Forum will be formed to regularly interface with the leadership of the police at all levels and advise on police activities. 5. To deal with the reports of crimes committed against citizens, an investigation team will be constituted, which will include civil society organizations for transparency, and the culprit will be punished.
Earlier today, and again in response to the demand of agitators, President Buhari addressed the nation, promising extensive reform of the police, but we're in for genuine police reform.
I would like to use this opportunity to say a word on the recent genuine concerns and agitations by Nigerians about the excessive use of force and, in some cases, extrajudicial killings and wrongful conduct by men of the Nigerian police force. The disbanding of SARS is only the first step in our commitment to extensive police reform in order to ensure that the primary duty of the police and other law enforcement agencies remains the protection of lives and livelihoods of our people. We will also ensure that all those responsible for misconduct or wrongful acts are brought to justice. We also deeply regret the loss of life of the young man in Ondo State during the recent demonstrations. I have directed that the circumstances of his death should be thoroughly investigated. Meanwhile, it is important to recognize that the vast majority of men and women of the police force are hardworking, and diligent in performing their duties. The few bad eggs should not be allowed to tarnish the image and reputation of the force.
SARS has been disbanded, and that the Commissioner, the Inspector General of Police, has also committed to ensuring not only that is it disbanded, but that whatever takes its place has the full participation of civil society groups and all other stakeholders. So it's, I think what we're seeing is a very, and today, just a few minutes ago, the President also spoke about this and spoke in particular about the reform efforts. He said that the disbandment of SARS is only the first stage in a full-scale reform of the police force. And I think that everyone is committed to seeing a police force and also law enforcement that will meet the expectations of the Nigerian people. The purpose of law enforcement, the purpose of policing is for the safety of lives and livelihoods of Nigerians.
Again, welcome to Journalists Hangout. We're glad you could join us, as I also welcome our guest, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, who's in the studio.
Thank you for having me as your guest.
And Mojeed Jamiu, who is joining us via Skype. Yes, welcome, Mojeed.
Thank you, Bukola.
Okay. So,
thank you, Bukola. Good evening.
Good evening. It's significant that even the president says the conduct of a few bad eggs should not be allowed to tarnish the image of the force. And he had described the agitations of Nigerians as genuine.
Yes.
And BKO, it's significant that this is happening in Independence Month. Many would never have thought that such an event could happen in Nigeria's history. F-SARS was finally disbanded. Babajide, what are your thoughts?
Yes, it's the will of the people that has prevailed. I'm happy that the president described the agitations as representing genuine concerns. It's significant so that sycophants who do not see anything good in the fact that people are agitating for responsible conduct of the police will now see that even the president that they are supporting blindly does not believe that people should be killed freely on our streets. So it's significant that it's coming from the president. It's describing those agitations as springing from genuine concern. That is what I take away from what I've taken away from the president's speech. And then you also had the VP talking about the fact that law enforcement must meet the expectations of the Nigerian people. They are paid from the taxes that Nigerians pay. Policemen or soldiers, or law enforcement agents generally should not see themselves as bigger than the people. If you want to see yourself as bigger than the people, then get another job. As long as you are there to protect lives and property, your conduct must be exemplary. This is what we have asked for over time, and it can't be wrong. If people demand for that, we can't be wrong. So this is the thing, and TVC as a media corporation is committed to that. We've always been on the side of the people. I've read online that, oh, the media is not supporting this thing. The media, some have even chosen to talk about TVC as not supporting the aspirations of the Nigerian people. Nothing can be further from the truth. When the agitators for F-SARS went to the Lagos State House of Assembly at midnight, TVC covered it. We were there with them at midnight, and a lot of them will realize that indeed we were there. On Saturday, we also covered the protest on the island, and we left that place for the home of Rude Boy, a former member of the defunct Peace Square. We left for his home to interview him as one of the leading lights in this agitation. So why are people lying against TVC that they are not covering it? Journalists hang out 3 times out of 5 days. We discussed the F-SARS thing. And I have also tweeted on the side of the Nigerian people. So why are people lying against us? That, the TVC, they do not want this. People have been told not to report it. If people have been told not to report it, why are you seeing the stories on air? The protest this morning in Surulere, we covered.
As a matter of fact, our editor, Uzon Noye, is still there at Surulere.
Yes, a senior person deployed to report. So what are people talking about? This is how people distract those who are genuinely doing their work and pushing for the growth and development of our nation. We are stakeholders in the growth and development of the Nigerian nation, and anything that we need to do along that line, TVC will do. That's what we are doing. Anyone who says this aspiration is not genuine, that person does not know what he's talking about. We need a police that is responsible to the people, a police that where the baddest will have been flushed out, a police that would behave responsibly. That's what we need. A lot of innocent people have been killed. The allegation that, it is Yahoo boys who are behind this is rubbish. I've seen so many people who have nothing to do with cybercrime who are also behind the call for the police to be reformed. And I support, as I've always demanded, that the police should be reformed. The president is promising extensive reform of the police, and we are going to hold the president by his word. That has to happen. That has to happen.
Absolutely. And speaking of which, many Nigerians reacted to the announcement about F-SARS being scrapped with skepticism. You know, a lot of people were saying that we hope this is not a hoax, and at the end of the day, we'll see another coloration of F-SARS in another police unit. And understandably, you know, with years of, you know, the excesses of SARS, you could appreciate their skepticism. But Mojeed, how do you react to this skepticism? Are you on that side, or are you hopeful that reforms will indeed bring about the kind of force that Nigerians so desire?
Yes. I think we should commend the president, at least for coming out. This is about the first time that we have the president speaking out on a national issue like this. And let us not forget the fact that under the police in Nigeria, we have the regular police, we have the mobile police force, we have the counter-terrorism unit, we have the special police protection unit. And in all of this, it's only the federal SARS or the special anti-robbery unit, which has just been disbanded, that has been known to be notorious. The counter-terrorism unit is also, you see them in red caps, but you seldom see them out. You see them fighting very critical areas. They are deployed in critical areas, and they are also members of the police force. So you seldom hear this kind of things you see about SARS, about the CT, they call them CTU. I mean, they are also members of the police. So I think it has to do with the individuals. And at times, there was a particular video that went viral about what the SARS guys did in Ibadan to a youth couple who was arrested alongside some criminals. The way they dehumanized that lady. So, I mean, you can go on and on and on. And I think what we need is a holistic reform of the police, not just the SARS, because now if you sack these SARS men, you risk even more serious issues if they are in the streets. Rather, a reform of the individuals who are personnel of this SARS, it will be better for Nigerians. Because I think they need a total reorientation. Because the kind of thoughts they share, the way they dehumanize people, I mean, we have military men, we have Air Force, Navy, and the regular Army. they relate with civilians, they relate with people. And we even have the Directorate of State Security. They are also mean. But, I mean, you don't hear this kind of nauseating stuff from them. So why is it that it is bizarre that we are getting this kind of bad news from almost all the time? And this is a protest that has gone, it's not even nationwide now, it's worldwide. It has gone international. You can see protests happening. Even the British ambassador to Nigeria, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria had to tweet on it today. So it has taken a life of its own. It's like Nigeria that its time has come. And I think the government is taking the right steps by ensuring that they are banned, at least in the first instance, which is just the first major step that has been taken.
Interesting. In the meantime, despite the announcement of the scrap of SARS by the IGP, and SARS protests continue across the country. Let's share a video of some of the protests in Lagos with you.
So this is Secretariat at the moment. Everywhere is blocked, no movement to and fro. Everywhere is blocked. Everybody are on stand still, no movement.
See, imagine. Because that she's solely you.
What's that video now? What's that?
She has the right to video now. Okay, can you say?
Oh, what? Don't pass the motor here.
They're beating now.
Imagine.
They're beating now.
They are even crazy.
This is what I'm talking about.
Jenny followers by she like.
Now, those are some of the actualities of continuing EndSARS protests in Lagos, Nigeria. We don't know yet if EndSARS protests are still ongoing in other parts of the country, but Trust TVC News, first with breaking news, will bring you those stories. Now, it reminds me of what Mojeed Jamiu said, that it is an idea whose time has come. It would be difficult to think that some of these youths don't know that the president has indeed made a speech and it has been announced that SARS has been disbanded. Yep. Why do you think that the protests are continuing?
Oh, they said they wanted the president to speak, and the president eventually had to speak today. They must have made up their minds since the weekend to continue the protest. So now the president has spoken. He has assured that there will be extensive reform of the police. The protests have to stop. Otherwise, it will be taken over by hoodlums. We know who would then be attacking people, attacking policemen. We've had reports of policemen being attacked and killed. In fact, we are yet to confirm one, but we learned that a policeman was shot here in Lagos and killed. I'm yet to confirm that. But we've actually received reports of some policemen killed in the course of this protest. We don't want policemen to be killed. We don't want protesters to be killed. It makes no sense to kill ourselves over a peaceful agitation. And protesters too must conduct themselves in a dignified manner. Otherwise, the message will be drowned by the negativities that come with illegal acts. So it's a good thing to reform the police. And interestingly, in Ondo State, for example, and even some parts of Zamfara, the SARS men are doing well. But I know that once a decision has been taken, the president has taken the decision, then they have to go. It's not only SARS men who can do the job that the SARS men in Ondo State and Zamfara were doing. There are other units within the police. The chief of them all, the police mobile force, they can do an excellent job. They can do exactly what the SARS guys are doing. The anti-cultism unit can do what the SARS guys are doing.
True.
You know?
True.
The anti-kidnapping unit can do exactly what the SARS men are doing. The IG's monitoring team, the IRT, IG's response team, led by Abba Kyari, can do exactly what the SARS men are doing. So people should not come and tell us, give us the feeling that, oh, without the SARS men, then we won't be able to secure our country. Of course, there are other units, elite units within the police who can do what the SARS men are doing, including, of course, the anti-terrorism outfit. You know, so this is the point. We've reached the point that the excesses of the SARS men have pushed people to demonstrate, and the president has taken the right decision. This was how Arab Spring began. Arab Spring actually began in a different country and then spread to Egypt. It brought down the government in Egypt. It wasn't in Egypt that it started. So protests, you must handle protests with wisdom so that things do not degenerate. And like this one now has become an international issue. We look at even Manchester United player, Rashford, saying that his mind was with Nigerians who are demonstrating. So that's to tell you that this thing has become an international issue, and the president has acted responsibly by stepping in and saying SARS should go. Rather than Nigeria falling, SARS can go.
And we can't talk enough about this. There is the issue of recruitment in the force, the issue of the accommodation, training, on and on. I wish we could continue. Welfare. So the police is our brother, is a breadwinner somewhere, is a husband to someone, and we hope that the reforms will cover all of these areas. Still to come on Journalist Hangout, Governor Akeredolu defeats PDP candidate Eyitayo Jegede again, gets re-elected with more than 90,000 votes. Stay with us. Run and won. The All Progressives Congress, APC, and its candidate, Rotimi Akeredolu, breasted the tape ahead of the 16 other political parties that contested the election. Governor Akeredolu, who hails from Owo, polled 292,830 votes, representing 51% of the total votes cast, to beat his closest rival, Eyitayo Jegede of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Jegede got 195,791 votes to taste defeat from Akeredolu for the second time. The other major contender and deputy governor of the state, Agbolajai, scored 69,127 votes to come a distant third. The election result came out as predicted by Babajide on the program on Thursday. Let's share that with you first of all.
But I'm not certain that you will win SLDO because Olushola is very strong there. Jegede, I project that Jegede will win Akure North and Akure South, and he will also battle with Alasho Adura in Akure North. Akeredolu, I project that we will win 11 local governments. Akoko Northeast, that's Ikare. Northwest, Okeagbe. Southeast is Shua. Akoko Southwest, where Borofis and the founder of the Unity Forum, Aliolanosi, come from. They are working hard for the governor. He will win Ileoluji and Okeigbo local government. He will win Irele because of Abba Meshaba, my old schoolmate. who is very strong in that area. He will win Ilaje, of the deputy governor, and because of he will win Odigbo, and he will win. I expect him to win Owo. Of 4 places, he has to win Owo. He will win Ose, and I expect him to win Hidori. The truth is, he's done so well to reunite with the people that he used to quarrel with in the APC. And this, for me, is the difference maker. People like Ali Olanusi had been quarreling with him for some time, but we have them on his side now. Abraham, Borofis, Kekemeke, Shola Iji, Ife Oyedele, and many other people. So with these people and with Makinde, who is believed to be the new face of politics in Ondo Kingdom, supporting, it's called Osha Prapra, supporting the governor, I want to say that I expect Governor Akeredolu to win. I'm not afraid to predict because of what happened in Edo. I have absolutely no shame in predicting that Akeredolu will carry the day on Saturday. There are so many things working for him.
And this time, BKO, your head has been exalted as that of the unicorn. You're right. Aketi won Ileoluji Okegbo. You won Irele. He won Akoko Irele. You won Akoko Northeast, Akoko Southeast, Akoko Northwest, as you predicted. But this was what I planned to be the last. But somehow, let's make it the reverse. You were also right about what could happen in Akure. Now, tell us, because one would have thought, being the governor and you're in the state capital, Akure should have been your immediate constituency. So why do you think Aketi lost Akure North, Akure South, Akure Southeast?
He lost the entire Akure Kingdom, including Fedore. The truth is, sometimes good performance is not enough to make you win an election. I've said that before. When people say, oh, if a governor performed, then he's guaranteed of win, it's a lie. I've seen governors who did excellently in their first term and didn't win. We saw Kolade-Otitoju do well in his first term, he didn't win. He was defeated by Fayose. I saw Mahmouda Shinkafi do very well in Zamfara, and he was not re-elected. Your politics, you must get your politics right to be elected. Now, more than 70% of the capital expenditure of Ondo State went to the Akure area. But of course, the people of Akure wanted to produce, they wanted one of their own son to become the next governor.
Zonal factor. So
even if the governor built houses in the sky for them, even if the governor made up his mind to share prosperity for the people, they had made up their mind that one of our own will always be better than someone from somewhere else. This was what happened. You saw his confidence during the debate. He was telling Eyitayo, he said, I tarred the road to your house. You didn't tar it when you were one of the commissioners. You were Attorney General of the state. You didn't tar it. And then Jegede said, oh, it was because your SA infrastructure was from there. He said, you give me credit. I tarred the road to your house. It's a fact that I did well in terms of infrastructure, and Akure benefited extensively. Maybe he was trying to use that to get them to support him, because he knew that even during the first election, Akure also didn't support him. But the people, that means Jegede is an Omoluabi in his area. So the people opted for their own Omoluabi and decided not to vote for the governor. Well, you can't say the same of the deputy governor. The deputy governor, out of 10 wards in Eseodo, the deputy governor lost 9. He only managed to win his ward. And I remember saying that I would not give him his local government because Olusola Oke was strong there. That's what happened. So the deputy governor looked like someone who had overshot his runway of grace because he clearly didn't get his politics right, and he paid a heavy price in this election. He didn't win a single local government. You know, we all thought it would be a 3-horse race, South, Central, you know, and
the capital.
Yes, but and North. The governor retaining the North,
The North, okay.
dominating the North, deputy dominating the South, and then Jegede the Central. But that's not how it turned out, because the governor routed him by winning all the local governments in the South. And then he went to the Central and won 3 local governments, the same number that Jegede won. So it was a dominant performance by the man with the white beard.
I'd like to also know if the deputy governor factor also affected ZLP with Mimiko, but that will be later. Mojeed, do you agree with Babajide that indeed the Akure sentiment was what played out in Aketi's loss in all the Akure areas?
Well, there's something they call Omowani Edelche in politics. And, you know, there's always that tendency to want to, just like what happened in during the election, which I also covered, the candidate, defected from, they call him Shea, defected from APC, ran on the platform of one small party. He's from one local government. All he could win. So the same thing has happened to, just like in 2016, Olusola Oke won like that government when we ran AD. But in 2020, it's a different budget. People have seen what Aketi has done. Like they said, in 2016, Aketi won 14 local governments. I mean, he was even posting this as he thought he would have won all the 18 local governments. I think that was a bit too ambitious. But then he increased his tally from 14 to 15 local governments. And also, 2014, Aketi came top to 204,000 votes. But now in 2020, he's able to garner about 90,000. So he increased that tally to 200,000. While Eyitayo Jegede from 150,000 in 2016 is able to move up to 195,000 votes. 2 local governments is able to increase to 3 now. He only won Akure, 2 Akure local governments in 2016. Now he has added Akeredolu. That's the Karaoke area. The disaster in this election is that of the deputy who ought to have waited for his time, but I think he was he left PDP in 2015 to April. As deputy governorship candidate, and about 3 or 4 months ago, left APC as a sitting deputy governor, went to PDP, and stayed in PDP for 40 days. I don't know whether he fasted for those 40 days. Maybe he could have made it. But then he moved from PDP, went to Zenith Labour. And I mean, you ought to have known that Zenith Labour Party is not a platform, because even the national leader of Zenith Labour Party, the man we used to know as Iloko, I doubt if he still answers that Iloko again, because he was really decimated in Ondo Town and in Ondo West. Where is that's his stronghold. Mimiko ran under the platform of Zenith Labour Party for the senatorial ticket, the platform of Zenith Labour Party for the senatorial tickets in 2016, and they lost. So I don't know what gave Agbola Ajayi that impetus that they could do well with a Mimiko running under Zenith Labour Party. That's why, like Jide said, from your local government in SLD, local government, you lost 9 wards and only managed to win just 1. And that's where the Commissioner for Information, Donald Ojogo, is from. He did fantastically well. and several other leaders in, because before this election, the Commissioner for Information had posted that it's going to decimate the influence and the impact of the deputy governor and the candidate of the Senate Labour Party, Kolade, in that local government. And I think he lived up to that billing because Kolade struggled to win just one ward out of 10 in this local government. So I think there's a lesson that for those, and a lot of other factors actually gave us the results that we have from Ondo State, especially looking at the fact that what works against Eyitayo Jegede is the fact that Ondo State people feels that, well, Mimiko, who just left, is from the same senatorial district with Eyitayo Jegede. And Mimiko spent 8 years in office, and the people and Kare and Akoko people, they are from the northern part of the state. So they feel that we have only done 4 years. That's why you could see it was total lockdown. I mean, look at the votes from Owo, for example. It knocked out whatever advantage that Eyitayo was bringing from Akure South. The vote won with a margin of about 30,000 votes. Aketi won with a margin of about 30,000 votes in Owo, while Eyitayo Jegede. So we call it cancelling out. So
as much as I'm enjoying your analysis, we'll have to take this call. Mojeed, good evening. You're on to Journalist Hangout. Talk to us.
Good evening, madam.
Go ahead. You're on.
Yes, I want to commend you people on the orientation you are giving, the information dissemination. And I also want to congratulate the governor of Ondo State, Aketi, for his brilliant performance in the just concluded gubernatorial elections, as well as the fairness and the credibility of the election to an extent. And I want to agree that...
Oh, we lost the call from Chidi. Thank you very much, Chidi, for calling in to Journalist Hangout. Mojeed was saying something very interesting about the ethnic sentiment that worked in favor of Aketi in Owo. But let's set that aside and look again at Mimiko. Do you agree with Mojeed that Olusegun Mimiko, former governor of the state that won 2 times over, is no longer the Iroko that we've always thought he is?
Well, there's a new kid on the block, and I said that clearly on Thursday, that the new kid on the block, the new face of politics in Ondo Kingdom, was working for the governor, and that will make the governor win that area. I didn't give that place to ZLP because I knew how strong that guy is. Makinde Oshapapra belongs to the ADC. He defeated Governor Akeredolu in 2019, defeated Mimiko, defeated the candidate of the PDP, and he got himself into the House of Reps. You know, can you imagine somebody defeating a candidate sponsored by a sitting governor? That should tell you how strong he is. And the governor enlisted his support. So he gave the governor his support during this election. That was why I said, with Osha Prapra on his side, that I expected the governor to win in that area. I didn't put Mimiko in the picture. You see clearly that I didn't even mention him, because I knew that his sell-by date was gone. As a politician, it gets to a point that your sell-by date will have evaporated. So Mimiko is not the factor that used to be in Ondo politics. And this is somebody who contested for Senate, was defeated, and this time around again, he backed Bola, and they didn't win. If Aketi is lucky for one thing, if Mimiko had supported Aketi, if they had not had their quarrel that led to exchange of words, people will have felt that he was the governor's godfather. You know, if the governor won this election, they will have felt Mimiko was his godfather, it was not made him to win. But by not supporting the governor still went ahead and won, defeating him in his home base. So that's significant. I think that is no longer the factor that it used to be.
I'd like to know if it would have been different if Mimiko had supported another candidate. You know, as you have talked about, the deputy governor came with his own baggage. But let's take this call from Sule Yao, who joins us from Kano.
Yes, Bukola, good evening. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yes, I just want to say that now that Babajide's prediction has come to become a reality, so what of those that are making such comments in the past? Predictions, like we said, are based on certain factors. If A, B, C, D are obtainable, so will happen. While if A or B is missing, certainly something will change.
Yes.
So now that Babajide has predicted that based on so factor, Akeredolu will win the election, and he has won. So why are they not celebrating? But the case of
that's their problem. That's their problem. I don't care whether, I don't even need them to celebrate. As far as I'm concerned, and this is not immodesty, my record is very good. Since 2011, I've been predicting who will be president of this country, and I've not lost even once. So if I made a prediction in Edo and it didn't work because the governors worked against their own party, then I'm not going to kill myself. They can abuse me. It's their problem. I'm doing my job.
You can't say that enough. I'd like to know, based on that point I raised earlier, but we must take a break now. You're on to Journalist Hangout on TVC. Stay with us. You're still with Journalist Hangout on TVC. In the second half of the program, we're looking at the victory of the All Progressives Congress candidate, Rotimi Akeredolu, in the Ondo 2020 governorship election. We've had a lot to talk about. Now we're looking at, the odds and ends that contributed to the loss of some candidates in some parts and the victory of the incumbent in the other parts. Now, Mojeed, I'm coming to you. As Babajide always says in his predictions, that if a candidate is going to win in a certain area, is predicated on so and so and so factor. And we've talked about this Makinde factor. You said earlier, you talked about the Owo sentiment, and which reflected in the huge votes Aketi got in Owo. Now let's look at the loss of Mimiko. Does it have anything to do with the baggage the deputy governor brought? And then if there was no evidence to support Aketi's performance in Ondo State in the last 4 years, do you still think that the strategy of bringing in Makinde would have worked in his favor? Unfortunately, we've lost Skype call to Mojeed Jamiu. We'll try to reconnect with him. But Babajide, you'd like to take that, I'm sure.
I think, as I've always said, human beings win elections for people. Once you have the power people in an area on your side, power people with proven record of good performance in elections, you can be sure that you will win. Sometimes things may not go according to plan. For example, Eyitayo had never lost his constituency, but it happened, he even lost his local government this time. Certain things happen. Shot at sight, or shoot at sight, is the dominant militant in the SLD area. There were people defeated Kinsley Kuku and all that with all the money that he brought. So if you want to win in that riverine area, you must get him on your side. The governor got him on his side. With people like that, with people like Olushola, there's no way Agbola will go and win that area. It's as simple as that, True. So once you have the power people, the people who are the strongest in an area on your side, you're as good as having won the election. And that's what the governor did. He went after the same people that he had offended, that he boasted that he does not want to see. He went to them, appealed to them. Of course, with the help of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who got people like Abraham Borofis and the rest of them to work for him. Olushola, okay, those are Asiwaju's boys, got them to work for him. So Asiwaju traveled to that place, made peace with them, and the governor was ready to bring everybody on board. So you saw that the same Kekemeke who was abusing the governor now said, oh, we are going to work for the governor. So with all of those people on his side, it was easy for him to win the election.
Indeed, his strategy produced results, and we hope that the same zeal the governor brought on towards the end of his first term will be applied as well, even more so in the second term. Congratulations to the incumbent Rotimi Akeredolu in Ondo State. And that's our package for you today on the program. Thank you for watching. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of the program. You can also watch Journalists Hangout on other platforms now showing on your screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalists Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. Bye for now and God bless Nigeria.